Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first in a five-part series presented by the Tourism Linkages Network Gastronomy Forum. This morning, we will start off with discussions around gastronomy tourism as a part of the new normal of living with COVID-19. We're very excited to welcome all of you who are joining us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. This is a great day to have this discussion, and we are joined by a very esteemed panel of presenters. We have with us this morning Honorable Minister Edmund Bartlett, the Minister of Tourism for Jamaica, Mr. Julian, Officer, Tourism Intelligence and Competitive Department for the UNWTO, Minister Floyd Greene, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, as well as Mr. Donovan White, Director of Tourism, Jamaica. I'm going to introduce our panelists and give you a little bit more detail on each of them, and then we will start our session this morning. So starting off with our Honorable Minister Edmund Bartlett, who, as everyone knows, is quite dynamic, results-oriented leader, who has recognized worldwide for his expertise and accomplishment in both tourism and politics. Mr. Bartlett was first appointed Minister of Tourism in 2007, serving until December 2011, and again appointed to this position in 2016 and still holds that position today. Prior to this, he was already a solid record of achievement and as a standing legislator in central government in both chambers of parliament. He served as Minister of State and Information, Broadcasting and Culture in the Office of the Prime Minister and Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Development. Later, he served as senator and opposition spokesman on various portfolios, including tourism, from 1989 to 2007. Under his leadership, tourism has been positioned as a catalyst for sustainable and inclusive growth through job creation, public-private partnerships, wealth creation, and community transformation. He has become a powerful voice and tireless advocate for global resilience tourism, and is founder and co-chair of the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Center at the University of West Indies, Mona, which is conducting policy-relevant research and analysis on destination preparedness, management, and recovery due to disruptions and crises that impact tourism. As one of the world's leading tourism ministers, Mr. Bartlett has represented Jamaica regionally and internationally. He has served as chairman of the board of affiliate members of UNWTO, vice chairman of the UNWTO Executive Council, vice chair of the CTO, and is currently chair of the UNWTO Regional Commission of the Americas, vice chair of the Organization of American States Inter-American Committee on Tourism. Mr. Bartlett has won numerous awards over the years dedicated to his service in tourism, including the Caribbean Tourism Minister of the Year, as well as the Pacific Area Travel Writers Association Tourism Minister of the Year for Sustainable Tourism in 2018. The 2019 Stravia Awards, Chairman Awards for Global Tourism Innovation, and the RGR Greene Hospitality Jamaica 2019 Pioneer Award. Mr. Bartlett is a very champion in terms of education, skills training, and job creation, and is very keen on improving the livelihood of his constituents in East Central St. James. Joining us also is Julian, who is the program officer at the Tourism Market Intelligence and Competitive Department of the UNWTO. His work at the UNWTO Tourism Market Intelligence and Competitive Department covers the analysis and current and future tourism trends. He contributes to the preparation of key UNWTO reports, such as the UNWTO World Tourism Barometer. His field of work also includes a study of tourism products and segments, outbound markets, and marketing techniques. He has coordinated joint research projects with the European Travel Commission's Market Intelligence Committee, reflected in several technical handbooks and seminars. Mr. Julian studied economics and holds a master's degrees in international economics and tourism economics from the Toll House School of Economics. We also are joined this morning by Minister Floyd Greene, who is the youngest Minister of Agriculture, deep roots in St. Elizabeth, and is now serving his second term as Member of Parliament. A champion to the food heroes in the breadbasket parish of Jamaica, Mr. Greene was molded by Monroe College and Fernand Harness at the University of the West Indies. He read for a degree in history and a minor in political science at UWI, and then was awarded a Bachelor of Law degree with honors in 2008. Floyd is a founding member of the Mona Campus Youth League, which was established by Generation 2000, a young professional affiliate of the Jamaica Labour Party. From 2016, he has served as the Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Culture and Information, and then was assigned Minister of State in the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Fisheries in 2019. We welcome him as well this morning. And last but not least, we are joined by Donovan White, who was appointed Director of Tourism in 2018, bringing to the JTB over 20 years experience as a senior executive in marketing and business development. A strategist and business leader, he is responsible for promoting and further enhancing Jamaica's reputation as a premier destination in the global marketplace. Since taking the helm, Mr. White has led strategic positioning to ensure destinations continue its growth trajectory for arrivals and exceeding the 4 million mark for total tourism arrivals in 2018 and 19. White has guided the implementation of several award-winning digital activations, including Join Me in Jamaica and Escape to Jamaica. He spearheaded the launch of the destination's Heartbeat of the World campaign, strengthening Jamaica's position as a global culturally relevant brand. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our panelists. But before we go into our session this morning, and we're going to start with our keynote speaker, Honorable Minister Bartlett, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of the Gastronomy Tourism Network, which I am the chair. And I'm just going to share a little bit of information with you on that, and then we will go into the full panel discussion. So Jamaica's Gastronomy Tourism Network was established under the Tourism Linkages Network by the Honorable Minister Edmund Bartlett, among 5 other networks, and we have been quite successful in focusing gastronomy. And these are some of the initiatives that have happened over the years. Gastronomy is a very integral part to ensuring the backward linkages that tourism brings in, but it's also one of those pull factors that encourages persons to visit a destination. So we have been working on culinary ambassador program through human capital development, Taste Jamaica, which is our master brand for Jamaica's gastronomy tourism product. And we have participated 2 years in a row at the South Beach Food and Wine Festival, presenting Jamaican gastronomy to the world. We have participated in gastro-diplomacy activities with the World Sustainable Gastronomy Day, which we celebrate in June. And we work on product development and enhancement, including Jamaica's first gastronomy center, which is Devon House, Jamaica Blue Mountain Culinary Trail, and the Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee Festival. We have also integrated technology and innovation with our Taste Jamaica mobile app and website, which showcases not only restaurants, bars, attractions, but also street food, dining, culinary trails, and other activities that celebrate Jamaica's gastronomy. We continue our partnerships with the culinary organizations and festivals, including others like the Boston Jerk Festival, Montego Bay Jerk Festival, the Taste of Jamaica competition, and the Team Jamaica and the Taste of the Caribbean competition. We have been, through thought leadership, participated and presented at the UNWTO World Gastronomy Forum for 2 years, and continue to present seminars such as this one today, where we want to share more about gastronomy from a Jamaican perspective and how we are using this very critical aspect of tourism development, not only to drive visitors to the island, but also to ensure that the agriculture and other linkages benefit from tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just a short synopsis, and I will now introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Minister Edmund Bartlett, who will take you through his vision for gastronomy in light of the new normal, which is living with COVID. Minister Bartlett, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Moderator Nicole, Madam Craig, and Chair of our Gastronomy Network of the Tourism Linkage Network. Okay, I was just having a little challenge with the camera, but now I'm pretty much on screen. Distinguished panelists all who have been so eloquently presented and welcomed, partners in Cyberland, ladies and gentlemen, I must first commend the Tourism Linkage Network, and in particular the Gastronomy Network, headed by Nicola Madden Gregg and her team, collaborating with Caroline Riley from the leadership of the network overall and her team for the drive I think that they have injected into this network from the word go. I recall very well when I inaugurated the networks and particularly the gastronomy network, how exciting it was, and the fact that Jamaica, with its enormously strong, deep, long, extensive array of culinary delights, would become a feature of any global activity with regards to gastronomy. The UNWTO, I think, provided the frame, and it was through the efforts of the gastronomy um, prototypes that the UNWTO initiated and carried through during those periods that we, in fact, were inspired to get the Jamaica network together. We have experiences the success of their initiative in promoting gastronomy tourism, notable through an annual coffee festival. We've done the Rum Festival and the partnership with other entities. We have also created the staging of several food and beverage related festivals. I think you heard the chairman speaking about our participation in global gastronomy activities. I recall the one in Bangkok where the Thailandese have a dish that they call ramdang, and we have one that we call rondong. And the similarity of the both was so striking that we decided, based on the fact that the ingredients that went into randang were the same that went into rondong. So we took rondong to Bangkok, and then we did a fusion called jamran, and that's the new dish that was created out of that particular forum in Bangkok. So I must recognize also the support of the Tourism Enhancement Fund in this particular event today. I think that the TF has morphed into an institution now within the frame of tourism that is responsible for almost everything innovative. And it's been a useful transformation, I think, from being a fund in the traditional sense of it, something more like of a banker, into now a full-fledged entity that drives a whole range of new and innovative experiences that are critical to enhancing the product and the appeal of Destination Jamaica. So this Gastronomy Forum series will go a far way, I think, in broadening the scope of their efforts, as it is presented on social media weekly to facilitate the exchange of experiences between experts in tourism and gastronomy, while seeking to identify best practices and promote gastronomy tourism as a tool for product development. There is a book by Deborah Chancellor entitled Don't Waste Your Food, and a blog by Nathan Cherry dubbed Don't Let This Disaster Go to Waste. If you examine these two headings closely, you will realize the importance of linking them as we embark on this innovative gastronomy forum series aimed at promoting gastronomy tourism as a catalyst for the development of Jamaica's tourism product. Both the book and the blog, therefore, come to mind because both speak about food, with one promoting consumption and the other production. And in that regard, I am pleased that my colleague, the Honorable Floyd Greene, Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, who is very active in promoting production and growth in that sector, is on board and is part of this discussion today. We also have the Director of Tourism, Donovan White, with all the marketing skills and insight of the Jamaica Tourist Board, and of course, Mr. Michel Julian, who bears the interesting title of Officer in the Tourism Intelligence and Competitive Department of the UNWTO, a global institution that I'm particularly familiar with. All three willingly accepted the invitation to participate in the first installment of what I'm sure will be a very informative virtual series. Today we are examining gastronomy tourism as part of the new normal of living with COVID-19, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be looking at post COVID because that's the reality. And among the lessons that the pandemic has taught us is that food and the food industry is not only essential, but it offers tremendous economic rewards. Just check the profits of the large food distributors for the last year when COVID-19 ravaged other industries, including tourism. That industry grew, the food distribution grew. Why are we undertaking initiatives like these then, when we had to endure the worst downturn in tourism in decades? Well, we are definitely not going to allow a good disaster to go to waste. COVID-19, like the flu, is likely to be a permanent feature of life going forward. So we have to learn to cope with it and maximize its impact as in other areas while minimizing its impact on our lives. We see countries already doing that, and we will be, I think, looking today on some of those as we are seeing also a ray of hope in terms of the rollout of vaccines. And I think that part of your discussion would have to look at this pragmatic relationship that is there now between vaccine rollout and health through nutrition and food. Because we believe that while vaccine, and I'm not the medical person here, but while the vaccine will help to build the chemical base for your resistance, the food that you eat is going to be the nutritional base for that resistance. And it's going to be a combination of food, good food, healthy food, as well as the medical and pharmaceutical arrangements from the vaccine that will see us through this process. So we share the confidence of major players in the global space that there will be a resurgence of tourism. Destinations around the world have been looking to a rebound of the industry as a saving grace in the recovery of their economies. Preparation and anticipations are key factors in the march forward, and the post-COVID-19 era demands new approaches, fixity of purpose, an attitude of gratitude, and a keen understanding of the need of those we invite in as our guests. Otherwise, we call them tourists. This is why over the next 5 weeks, starting today, there will be specific presentations to prepare the culinary industry for the rebound of the tourism sector, including presentations on innovation in gastronomy, developing destination restaurants, social media and digital marketing, as well as talent development. This series will offer valuable information to the target audience, which include chefs, caterers, academia, agriculture stakeholders, restaurateurs, and tour operators, with the aim of connecting the ecosystems and linking startups and existing businesses along the gastronomy tourism value chain. What we have here are both the frontline and behind-the-scenes soldiers who will be called upon to redouble their efforts, whether in producing the goods needed to supply the industry, preparing the items for consumers to enjoy, or delivering the finished goods for a gastronomic delight. The aim must be efficiency, professionalism, knowledge, and courtesy at all levels, because we are relentless in our pursuit of Jamaica maintaining its reputation of being one of the most sought-after destinations post-COVID-19. And I dare say, with COVID-19. I have no doubt that the participants have a lot to gain over the next few series. The areas of focus will provide great insights, such as innovation in gastronomy, a look into innovative gastronomy businesses across Jamaica. Our cuisine is rich with a blend of gastronomic delights that reflect the culinary diversity of our people and are to be found in a variety of settings, ranging from a cook shop tucked away in the quaint rural setting or the opulence of a gourmet restaurant. Participants will then be schooled on seasoning the talent, and that's giving you an insight in how to attract and retain the right talent. But there's no doubt that as a tourist destination, we are blessed with an abundance of talented people in various disciplines. but the nature of your business dictates that you secure the right fit. You cannot, for instance, take a cook who is great at running a fast food takeout and simply place them in a gourmet kitchen. Nicola will tell you it really doesn't work. Earlier, I made references to the importance of technology and social media in today's world. The travel and tourism industry is now under daily scrutiny with worldwide access to a range of social media platforms. Everyone now needs to be alert to this fact and to understand how to manage social media effectively. So social media can also be used successfully as a marketing tool, and Donovan will probably tell you more about that. And you will learn how in the forum our social media and digital marketing can be effective. The series will wrap up with experts giving you insights on standing out from the crowd and developing a destination restaurant experience. So, in 5 tightly packed sessions, you will be getting information at the highest level to refresh the minds of those who already know and open up new thinking for those who do not know. Let me emphasize that tourism has been the main pillar of our economy for many years. And anyone who doubted that up to 2019 must have changed their minds, I think, by the midway of 2020. So with our major lockdown markets now, COVID has really played a number on them. We have flights that are grounded, international borders closed, I'm almost bringing tears to my eyes. The absence of tourists, and I must tell you this one. Yesterday and the day before, we went through the budget of expenditure for Jamaica. And the pain of my own experience was to read out that tourism's contribution to the economy by way of revenue had literally grounded to a halt. But the strength of our resolve and the certainty of our capacity for recovery made it possible for me to be strong in my own resolve, as well as, I believe, effective in presenting the picture that recovery is on the horizon and that tourism will rise again and give the level of economic support that the economy of Jamaica and the world requires. I want to close by indicating that the strength of this industry is still around food. 42% of the expenditure of visitors internationally is on food. Let's get it right. Let's build our capacity to respond to this great demand, and in so doing, leave behind the nicest, most delightful aspect of every experience a visitor has, the culinary genius of our people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Edmund Bartlett. I think no one could have said it better. The strength of our resolve and the capacity for us to recover, utilizing the natural assets that Jamaica has, including our cuisine, our culture, our music, our sports, our entertainment, our health and wellness, all a part of our Linkages network and our 5 pillars that will take us through and bring persons back to our shores. As Minister Bartlett said, we are very unique in our culture. We are very strong and resilient people, and this too shall pass. Now, for an international perspective, I am going to move to Michelle Julian from the UNWTO, who will present an international perspective on how gastronomy tourism started out in terms of a focus of the UNWTO and where he sees it going in terms of us moving through COVID-19 and into the future. Michelle, over to you.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Good morning, Jamaica. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to the audience following this virtual session. I will share my presentation because I have one. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, go right ahead, Michelle.
Excellent. So very pleased to share this virtual event with such distinguished panelists. Jamaica is not only a very active member of UNWTO, but also a major Caribbean destination that is always at the forefront of tourism excellence. And this is why I'm very pleased today to present the view and work of UNWTO on a very tasty topic, which is gastronomy tourism. Although I must confess that it's always a challenge to speak right after Minister Bartlett, who has been a very strong advocate for gastronomy tourism, but also for a safe and responsible restart of tourism. So thank you very much on behalf of the World Tourism Organization for this opportunity to participate in this very interesting virtual event. So before we talk about gastronomy tourism, it is always convenient to set the scene and to talk about the context of the impact of COVID-19 on tourism. As we all know, the pandemic has inflicted an unprecedented blow to international tourism. Last year, only 381 million international tourist arrivals, those are overnight visitors, were recorded compared to the 1.5 billion international tourist arrivals that were registered in 2019. That's the pre-crisis year. So as you can see on the map, all regions were affected by the impact of the pandemic. So if we see some numbers, international tourist arrivals due to the collapse of international demand decreased by a massive 74%. And this is also amid travel restrictions impacting all regions and countries in the world. And that translates into a loss of 1 billion international tourist arrivals. But it also has a dramatic social and economic consequence because 1.3 trillion dollars were lost in tourism exports last year. That's 11 times the income loss if we compare it to the 2009 economic and financial crisis. So if we look ahead, if we look to the recovery of international tourism, according to scenarios made and prepared by UNWTO, it is expected that international tourism will recover or will take 2.5 to 4 years to recover 2019 levels. Of course, this will depend much on the reversal of the pandemic, especially now that vaccines are being rolled out. This will depend also on a lifting or easing of travel restrictions, and last but not least, a return of confidence. This is very also important to take into consideration, the return to trust and confidence. This, of course, in a context of a very high uncertainty. But there are also changes triggered or by the pandemic 19 in traveler behavior, changes that will remain or that could be temporary. But one of them is the rise of domestic tourism, staycations or vacations close to home. And domestic tourism has also boosted the demand for open-air activities, nature-based also products, rural tourism, and we can also include gastronomy tourism. And as Nicola was mentioning also, health and wellness too. All part of these open air experiences that are linked also to the rise of slow travel, the rise of community-based tourism, which are linked to a more sustainable, authentic, and responsible experience. And if we talk about gastronomy tourism, let's start by the definition of the Committee on Tourism and Competitiveness in WTO, which defines gastronomy tourism as a type of tourism activity, which is characterized by the visitor experience linked with food and related product and activities while traveling. And this is interesting because gastronomy has become one of the main reasons to travel, to discover the local cuisine of the destination, to explore its restaurants, to taste the typical products, and to explore those traditions. So I will present very briefly some guidelines that were prepared by UNWTO and the Basque Culinary Center. The Basque Culinary Center is a center of gastronomy innovation based in San Sebastian, Spain. So both institutions prepare some guidelines for the development of gastronomy tourism, and I will be pleased to share 10 recommendations for the development of gastronomy tourism. The first one is the promotion of a model of governance that is transparent. Governance is important because governance means also the collaboration between all stakeholders across the value chain, public, private, regional, national, local. The second recommendation is about the promotion of local gastronomy as a cultural heritage. And I think this is very important to take into the consideration that the local gastronomy is part of the heritage of the community of a country. And Minister Bartlett was mentioning also the importance of the local cuisine and traditions in Jamaica. So it's a way of reinforcing that culinary identity, that pride that people, can feel about their own cuisine, their local products, their own traditions. So the third recommendation is about hosting those gastronomy tours. And if we want to enhance the visitor experience, we need to improve the scenario, the environment, the infrastructures, the venues to successfully host those tourists that are looking for an authentic experience. And talking about experience, and this is the fourth recommendation, the experience is also about contact with local communities. The new, I will say, the educated tourist, who is looking for something else, something that goes beyond the traditional offer, wants to meet local people, wants to live like a local. And gastronomy tourism can mean a very good way to achieve that. So it's about helping positioning the territory as a gastronomy destination. The fifth recommendation is about promoting the competitiveness of all actors in the value chain. And that means training, talent management, innovation, knowledge, excellence, and the cooperation of all actors. The sixth one is to develop gastronomy tourism intelligence using big data to better understand what are the expectations, the needs of that tourist looking for a gastronomy experience. And of course, if we want to market the destination, if we want to market the gastronomy assets, we need to create a good narrative, a credible storyline about the destination's gastronomy as a brand argument. And this is very important in order to reinforce and to strengthen the brand of the destination as a gastronomic destination. The eighth one, and we are reaching the end, is to define and to adopt a plan to promote and support the marketing. And the marketing using, as Minister Bartlett also said, social media, digital tools, digital marketing, that are also very important nowadays in this context of COVID-19 and even in post-COVID-19 to use them. And the ninth recommendation is to maximize the power of technology, to use technology. And this is related also to the digital tools to drive the development of gastronomy tourism. And the final one is sustainability. Sustainability is a key priority of UNWTO. And sustainability is here to stay, is to present on the future of the development of tourism. And it is needed to guide and to develop gastronomy tourism according to those three dimensions of sustainability: the social, the economic, and the environmental one, always with a view of a long term, always with a view of protecting heritage and also biodiversity and food assets too, also with a view to contribute to sustainable development goals, the 2030 agenda, also with a view of inclusion of those local communities and making the destinations more accessible too. So in this context, the Global Tourism Crisis Committee of UNWTO and other partners, global operators, international organizations such as the World Health Organization, IATA, ICAO, etc. This committee has identified priorities for tourism recovery. And one of them is to continue to provide liquidity and to protect jobs, especially in a sector which is very fragmented, and that 80% of the sector business is composed about small and medium enterprises. And among those small and medium enterprises, there's a high share of women and young people working. So it's very important to continue to stimulate and to help with financial, with also measures to protect employment. And of course, to recover confidence through safety and security. But safety and security is not only the protocols of hygiene and safety. Now that we are talking about vaccines, it's how to integrate vaccines into a harmonized approach to safe travel and how to launch a coordinated effort to boost confidence in the sector. So beyond the social distancing, beyond the wearing of masks, we need also to think about how to integrate vaccine, testing, tracing also, and digital tools. Public-private collaboration for an efficient reopening. But that reopening with responsibility, because in the end, health is paramount. So the fifth priority is to harmonize and coordinate protocols and procedures. We are trying to promote that standardization and that coordination of protocols and procedures among countries, and to add value jobs through new technologies with innovation and sustainability as key priorities in the new normal. So very quickly, the UNWTO work on gastronomy tourism is translated into policies, as you saw, the guidelines for the development of gastronomy tourism that were developed with the Basque Culinary Center, but also forums for exchange of best practices and knowledge. And I'm very happy to learn that Jamaica participated in the second forum of gastronomy. So I don't need to explain, because I'm in front of people that are well acquainted with the importance and the potential of gastronomy tourism. We have carried out also research on gastronomy tourism, and you can access those publications on the website of UNWTO, and I invite you to have a look to them. We also, as I mentioned, carried out and organized UNWTO events on gastronomy tourism. And we will announce very soon the next gastronomy forum, which was supposed to be held in Bruges, Belgium, but unfortunately it was postponed because of the COVID-19 situation. So thank you very much. I will leave you with Mr. Bartlett, who is not only a wonderful Minister of Tourism, but also a famous cook, as I can see. And next to him, I see Nicola. So thank you very much. And any inquirement or any information that you may need, please visit our website or email us. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Michelle. That was an excellent presentation that really took us into the heart of the UNWTO and the gastronomy tourism push on an international basis. And it really highlighted and confirmed, the program that we have been doing here in Jamaica, and have been really looking towards working more on the UNWTO initiatives around gastronomy tourism, most of which we have implemented. But part of what we're doing today is ensuring that we expand beyond where we are now and continue to grow our gastronomy tourism and continue to implement all these various policy initiatives. As you know, Minister Bartlett is very keen on this, and we continue to utilize the assets and the partnership through the UNWTO as we innovate ourselves and move forward in gastronomy. So we really appreciate that. So now we have the other element, which is the backward facing side of gastronomy, and that is agriculture. When we speak about gastronomy, agriculture is a very integral part to the success of any gastronomy tourism program, because of course, how the food is produced, the type of variety, the quality, the unique properties that are our food products and our ingredients into our cuisine is critical. So joining us now is Minister Floyd Greene, who is our Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, who will give you his thoughts on gastronomy tourism under the new normal of COVID-19, and how the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is working towards partnership with tourism to ensure this success. Minister Greene, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nicola. And let me just commend you on your leadership of the Gastronomy Network and your job as moderator. I think you have been doing an exceptional job thus far. The Honorable Edmund Bartlett, our Minister of Tourism, and a safe pair of hands in a time of crisis. let me say a good morning to you. Of course, our Director of Tourism, Director Donovan White from the Jamaica Tourist Board, Michelle Julian from the World Tourism Organization. Excellent presentation. And I think as we listened on, there was an opportunity for us as a country to tick a lot of the boxes in relation to what you outlined regarding the framework for a strong gastronomy industry. Other special invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I am very, very happy to be here to share. I think COVID-19 has forced all of us as entrepreneurs, as government, as tourism stakeholders to look at this new normal and to find ways in which we can innovate despite the many uncertainty and challenges. And in that vein, I want to really commend and congratulate Minister Bartlett on his truly visionary leadership in ensuring that gastronomy and gastronomy tourism is a priority area of the Ministry of Tourism. For me, it is such a critical element to strengthen our local tourism product, to ensure that we propel the attractiveness of Jamaica as a destination and our competitiveness in the international space. But more importantly, it is such an important element to engage our farmers and fisherfolk in the tourism product. And it's critical that not only all of Jamaica, but our farmers and our fishers take full ownership of tourism. And for me, that can be done through this gastronomy linkage. I think I will say what we have already heard and what we well know, that Jamaica is well known and often praised for its excellent food. It's almost as if anything that we grow here has an extraordinary taste profile. Our local grown produce, our beverages are already a major part of our local tourism experience. You go to any of our destinations and you speak to our guests and they talk about visiting for the rum, for the coffee, for jerk, things like breadfruit and our manish water, ackee. And we could go on and on to talk about the sweeter stuff like peanut drops and greater cake. The truth is the world loves to eat Jamaican. And our duty now is to ensure that they can do so in a more fulsome way. That backdrop means that the possibilities are limitless to allow the world to share our food when they visit our destination. So allow me a few minutes just to share my own reflections on what I believe we can do to continue to capitalize on the possibilities. I think already we have set a great foundation, and a great foundation by the Linkages network, by this gastronomy focus. I think that has already put us on a clear trajectory and a pathway. But there are a few more things that I think that we can do. One of the good things is coming out of our Linkages experience is that there is no doubt in our minds that food is really the heart and soul of tourism. In fact, under the leadership of Minister Bartlett, it was the Center for Leadership and Governance who conducted a tourism demand study that highlighted that the demand for food across the tourism sector amounts to 39.6 billion Jamaican dollars, with things such as poultry, meats, seafood accounting for at least 75% of that total value, while fruits accounted for another 10%. So we already know that food drives tourism. So our goal is to ensure that when our guests get here, they can be treated to distinctive Jamaican flavors and food. Our finest fresh fruits and vegetables are meat that are all grown right here in this country. Because again, that will add to that experience. So for us at the Ministry of Agriculture, our foremost priority is to ensure that there's alignment between ourselves and the tourism demands so we can drive our production numbers to meet those demands. Coming out of the demand study, we have been able to do that in a very detailed manner. We've been able to use the study to highlight some of the areas in which there are gaps and to really push our farmers into production in those areas. We've seen record numbers in relation to fruits such as melons, cantaloupes, things that are really just consumed by the hotel sector, such as eggplants. And if you doubted how we were doing, Minister, when COVID came and the government had to intervene to buy excess produce from our farmers due to the fallout in the tourism sector, then you had no doubt in your mind. In fact, what we saw as a direct result of our drive to increase our production numbers is that the first quarter of 2020, we saw our largest ever production numbers since we have been recording production. We had 195,000 tons of agricultural produce, which was a 10.7% increase over 2019. Again, because COVID came and we saw a lot of excess, the government had to find over $240 million to go into move, since that project has started, 2 million tons of excess agricultural produce. So already I think we have started that critical linkage to ensure that we supply more of the tourism product demand. We believe we can dig a little deeper. And what we want to see is the Alex platform, which is a wonderful initiative coming out of the Ministry of Tourism, which is a partnership between the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Agriculture, and RADA, which is a platform that links our hotel purchasers with our farmers in the field, so that they can highlight the demand and they can see where there's a supply that they can take advantage of, that they can really get into their stores. I think Alex has gone a far way in breaking down some of the communication barriers between our hotels and our farmers. What I want us to see as we look forward to expanding our gastronomy network is for us to expand the Alex program, for us to really see how we can drive the supply just based on the demand. Now, what do I mean? There are some specialty crops that we don't normally grow in Jamaica, but that we have the wonderful climate to grow it. We have to use Alex now to provide the farmers with that information that these crops are in significant demand, working with RADA, and have our farmers produce in relation to those crops. That's also the same for our fishers. Again, we're still way behind in relation to providing our seafood needs. Some of our fishers need to go further out to sea. A lot of them need to be convinced that there is a clear market here. We have to use our Alex platform to provide more information before our farmers and fishers even decide what they're going to embark upon, so that we can link demand with supply. The other thing that we have seen, and we've seen it, what I speak of, we have seen how it can work, especially in relation to a product that we have started to pay a lot of attention to, such as strawberries. And I think the strawberry experience is what we need to emulate throughout various product lines. So what have we done? Clearly, we've identified from the demand study that our hotel sector does use a lot of strawberries. We believe we have the climatic conditions to grow strawberries. So we started selected areas in which strawberry could be grown, and then back that up through the Ministry of Agriculture with a partnership with tourism by putting a total research center around the development of strawberries and now berries. So we've completely renovated our Top Mountain Research Center to develop strawberries and berries for our hospitality and gastronomy networks. Again, we're doing the same in relation to oysters. A lot of our hotels have been saying, a lot of our restaurants, they can't get local oysters. So now we've embarked on a program using the community groups in Negril and Savlamar in Westmoreland to actually grow oysters and sell to our tourism products, to our tourism industry. Where do we want to go? We now want to fully revamp our research facility in relation to mariculture, so we can be growing in the sea more of the things that our gastronomy network needs. So I see a clear pathway that we've already embarked upon, but that we need now to put more energy behind as a Ministry of Tourism, as a Ministry of Agriculture, to continue along this way. There are two more things that I think We've started the journey, but I think we definitely can do more. Without a doubt, we have to enhance the experience of the tourists in relation to how they experience Jamaican food. And we want more of our farmers and fishers to get directly involved. We want to see more excursions that go into the farms so people can see, one, where their food is coming from. They can be assured that their food is safe and is grown under the highest standards. And additionally, they can engage with our best selling point, our people. And you know our farmers and fishers are among the best in the world. So we want to develop these experiences where the Tourism Linkages Council is helping us at the Ministry of Agriculture to develop model farms that we can have excursions to, that our visitors can actually have their gastronomy experience right in the heart of Southwest St. Elizabeth. And no, I have no special connection to the place. It's just a really excellent, productive area. But we want to work together to develop those experiences on the farm and at the fishing beaches. One of the things that we want to do, that we want the Ministry of Tourism to partner with us on, is we want to embark on a redevelopment program this year for our fishing beaches. We want our fishing beaches to become gastronomy experiences where people go and stay and have the best fish just caught from the Caribbean Sea. Already, I think we have done a great job in relation to our festivals. And I again want to commend you, Minister Bartlett, and the entire team. I think we now have some marquee events that people will travel for. Our Rum Festival is well known, our Coffee Fest. You know, I want to add our Pepper Shrimp Festival right down there in a place called Middle Quarters. But we want to see more festivals because we believe they provide a ready market for the produce and the items that we have here in Jamaica. So I believe we can work together to, again, develop more festivals. And it is my goal that especially each of our highly productive agricultural areas will have a festival for what they're known. We used to have a Yam Festival. That is something we need to rekindle because Jamaica has so many different gastronomy experiences that can be shared with our visitors. Finally, I think we have to continue on the pathway and even accelerate the pace at which we sell Jamaica as a gastronomy destination. I was looking and I saw that Chef Pencil named Jamaica as the 8th most underrated foodie destination in the world, which means that clearly he loves our food and he believes that more people should come to Jamaica to experience our food. We want, as a Ministry of Agriculture, to join with the Ministry of Tourism to really embark on a worldwide campaign to sell our food and our farmers and our fishers. So even before people get here, they come here because they want to engage a farmer, they want to engage a fisher, they want to engage with our food. And we believe that we are already on that pathway, but more can be done to enhance how Jamaica is positioned as a gastronomy center. So for me, I think we are on a clear path. I think without a doubt, unfortunately, even before COVID-19, under the leadership of Minister Bartlett, this was seen as an area that would be priority. And I think now, with COVID-19, it is even more critical for us to strengthen our linkages, to work more closely together to ensure that everybody appreciates that gastronomy will be at the heart of our tourism product. We have the farmlands, we have many areas that we can work with in relation to raising the production numbers. We are working with RADA in relation to ensuring that the quality is at a level that the gastronomy network needs. We want to see more of our chefs doing authentic Jamaican dishes that will become world renowned. So as we continue to embark on our Say Yes to Fresh campaign, we want to see more farm tours. We want to see more tourists experiencing the real Jamaican farmers market. We want to see recreational activities in our fishing villages. We want to see a closer working relationship. We at the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, where we endorse this webinar, we endorse this series, and we're excited to play our part in developing Jamaica's gastronomy tourism network. And we will work together with our food producers and our technical experts, our hospitality network, to create this experience for our tourists and our Jamaican people. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Minister Greene. We really appreciate that well-detailed presentation, and definitely know that you are our key partner. We have a seat on our committee for your representative or yourself, because gastronomy, as we said, is a partnership with agriculture, and we definitely are very excited to see your passion and how we'll continue to work to grow this gastronomy tourism product. We already have quite a few farm-to-table experiences, and we will definitely look towards promoting more of these experiences, as well as including our fishing beaches. I believe TEF has developed one in Ocherius already, where we have that fishing beach and experience with restaurants and bars. So definitely that's something we would want to see grow and expand as we continue to roll out gastronomy tourism across the island. And we are all 100% on board with you regarding middle quarters. That's also one of my favorite places in the island. So pepper shrimp, I am there with you. So you had me at that one. So we thank you very much. And we are going to move on now to our next presenter. And that is from the Jamaica Tourist Board. We have Donovan White, who will be speaking to you about some of the things we have already done in partnership with the JTB and how they continue to position Jamaica as a gastronomy tourism destination as we work together looking at COVID-19, the new normal, and going forward. Thank you. Donovan?
Thank you, Nicola, and thank you for doing an extremely good job moderating today's webinar. I want to say good morning to Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Floyd Greene, who we just heard from, Minister of Agriculture, Michelle Julian for a fantastic presentation from UNWTO, other members of the tourism family that are logged in, members of the media, our friends in the digital world who are watching and listening and looking for opportunities. We also welcome you to today's event. Undoubtedly, Jamaica is a breathtaking island bursting with culture and adventure. And a big part of this culture is our food. Adding to its international allure, by quickly becoming one of the hottest destinations for food lovers around the world. With our mouth-watering cuisine being second to none, Jamaica stands to benefit significantly from an industry that the World Food Travel Association has estimated to worth over $150 billion annually. While the scenery and lifestyle is enough to make visitors want to pack their bags for Jamaica, our food have visitors looking for ways to extend their stay. This further highlights that the cuisine of the destination is an aspect of utmost importance in the quality of the holiday experiences that our visitors come to Jamaica for. Our culinary offerings are among the top reasons people come to Jamaica. This feature, coupled with the diversity of our food culture, makes it irresistible. From a hot cup of soup on the roadside to five-star dining establishments, Jamaica is definitely on my food lovers' bucket list, as is said by so many of the visitors we meet with, see in the world when we travel all the time. Gastronomy is truly a melting pot that reflects the cultures that have over centuries influenced our local cuisine. Gastronomy tourism, now a global focus, has to do with food and drink as a topic and medium, a vehicle and a destination for tourism. It looks at people exploring food and drinks new to them, as well as new cultures as a way of life. The fact that we offer culinary tours, such as guided walking, horseback riding, and bus tours, which take visitors on gastronomic adventures through various towns, will give visitors the opportunity to also understand elements of Jamaica's history and culture, which have significantly influenced the Jamaican palate, evolving over time. Apart from the great taste of our food, the experiences that can be had are what makes dining in Jamaica come alive. For example, the fact that on the South Coast, you can visit a farm and get fresh pieces of fruits and vegetables like watermelon, honeydew, or cantaloupe. And I could go on and on. You heard Minister Greene speak about middle quarters and hot pepper shrimp, one of Nicola's delight. These are the kinds of experiences that you can have gastronomically in Jamaica. Having fresh and exotic ingredients and equally amazing places to try them contributes to you falling for the island's unique mouth-watering delicacies. According to Cambridge World Atlas of Food, Jamaica is listed as having 11 distinct foods, including ginger, hot pepper, sorrel, pimento, Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee, and I could go on, but in the interest of time, I will just whet your appetite with that for the time being. That is, by the way, compared to 9 that are attributable to France and 13 to Italy, countries that are considered foodie institutions. Gastronomic tourism is surely suitable for Jamaica. Jamaica's very fruitful ecosystem, combined with rich food, drink, culture, and culinary history, has established itself as a gastronomic tourism destination in a very unique way. Our local agricultural sector, along with the tourism sector, provides the platform to satisfy the palates of travelers in pursuit of these very experiences. Through all of this, a generation or a new generation of Jamaican gastronomy has emerged. More tourists now plan trips to Jamaica specifically to attend their choice of food festivals, which we have popularized and made available digitally over the last several years through our Linkages network, and in particular through Nicola's gastronomy network. A feather in the cap for all our hotels, who, by the way, are all now offering authentic Jamaican cuisines and a distinct variety of fine dining experiences in all their hotels. With the emergence of bold, talented local chefs, combined with locally sourced seafoods, fruits, veggies, and other grown produce in Jamaica, we have become one of the trendiest places to feast the world and feast in the world of perfect delicacies. And of course, it gives the opportunity for this world, this new digital world, to take the next great selfie that makes the rounds and do the social media bits. But remember, in order to take that selfie, you have to be here with the food. So we look forward, of course, to your next trip to Jamaica for that wonderful, unbelievable, one-of-a-kind, once-in-a-lifetime food experience. We await you, your next trip to the heartbeat of the world. And we are looking forward to seeing you all soon, right here in Jamaica. Thank you, Nicola.
Thank you, Donovan, for that very good presentation and the involvement of the Jamaica Tourist Board and the partnership that you have done over the years. We want to highlight specifically the amount of media and bloggers, food bloggers and foodies that we have brought to the island over the years, partnering with the Jamaica Tourist Board to actually showcase Jamaican gastronomy. Because as Minister Greene pointed out, sometimes we are one of those best kept secrets. And we continue to partnership with the Jamaica Tourist Board to bring in all the media and the bloggers who need to experience what Jamaica has to offer so that they can share with the world, and for you in the wider world, or consumers and potential visitors, for you to also get a taste, as we say, where Taste Jamaica is our forward-facing brand for Jamaican gastronomy. So you can taste Jamaica, just a little bit of an experience until you come and take your own selfie and taste it in person, right, Donovan?
Absolutely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone online, I just want to thank our presenters for the wonderful bit of information that they just gave us. And we are going to open up and ask a few questions. We have online a couple of questions that have come up already, but just for persons to know that we will be sharing the presentations online, and you would be able to review all of what we presented this morning at the TEF Jamaica on YouTube and Facebook, and via Taste Jamaica now on Instagram and Facebook. So it will be accessible after the presentation this morning. So you can recap and share with others the great experience of what we're doing with Jamaican gastronomy. So our first question comes from Shanoy Topez Lee, and she wanted to know if literature will be available for us to peruse after the forum. Yes, as I just said. And we have another question from YouTube that says, what is the global outlook for tourist arrivals for 2021, specifically for Jamaica? So, Director, I think that's your question there.
Thanks, Nicola. The Minister did announce earlier this week, as he said in Parliament, what our outlook looks like. For calendar year 2021, our forecasted numbers is around about 1.1 million arrivals, and we are looking forward to the potential return of some amount of cruise travel to Jamaica. That's an area of our product that we are absolutely excited about. We're excited about it also because of this very topic we're talking, because a lot of cruisers come to Jamaica and they look forward to having a gastronomic experience at our restaurants, at our local fare in terms of people who provide food experiences. And that's one of the areas that we believe that we're excited about, and we look forward to seeing what will happen later on in the year with cruise travel. But we are at this point in time forecasting on about 1.1 million arrivals for the destination.
Excellent. Thank you, Donovan. We have another question here, and this is from let me just get this correctly. Basically, it is asking the fact that we have been rated on as the 8th underrated destination in terms of food. Are we doing enough to promote food festivals, or do we have enough festivals being promoted? Maybe I can ask Director for you to answer that, and I may chime in with a couple of
sure.
As well.
I think Minister Greene also alluded to it, that we do have quite a bit of festival. We have had a number of festivals over the years, and there are some that have fallen from the calendar, and it's good to hear Minister Greene speak of working to get some of these community food festivals back on track, because they are and can be a significant source of entertainment and opportunity for visitors to visit into our communities and to see and feel and touch more of Jamaica. So we certainly look forward to that. Presently, we have a number of festivals, food festivals that happen annually. Obviously, COVID-19 in 2020 would have stymied some of those events. I know that promoters are beginning to act feverishly again in terms of getting active and trying to find ways to put the right set of protocols in place to apply for permits to bring those festivals back. So we continue to journey through this new normal of getting back to a place of being able to entertain our visitors, invite our visitors to be entertained, as well as giving them these wonderful, unique, and different experiences with our food and our people.
Yes, so that was from Instagram. I think also, just to add, we had a concerted effort when we started the Gastronomy Network, working with the Tourist Board, where we focused on bringing in media. And I think when we started in 2016, we had somewhere in the region of just 81 million impressions when we got the advertising and the PR agency to look at that for Jamaican food and Jamaican gastronomy. And by 2017, we had gone up to 390 million impressions, and we continue to grow and get the word out. And part of getting the word out, I would think, is that we need to utilize social media more. For example, we said, you know, Taste Jamaica is our forward-facing brand for Jamaican gastronomy. So what we can say to all our Jamaican culinaries and food festival promoters is to use those hashtags, use Jamaican food, use Taste Jamaica, because that is how we ensure that that virality happens and people get more engaged with the Jamaican food scene. And our festivals definitely, as we said, need to look at not only promoting to the local community, but how do we partner to make them more internationally noticed and present. So those are things we continue to encourage, and the Gastronomy Network does work and support the local festivals who are looking to target. So we also, another question, UNWTO and FAO signed an MOU for these two agencies to work together for sustainable and responsible growth of rural tourism. The question is to you, Michelle, how has that progressed? And would you like to give us some insight on that MOU?
Well, what the pandemic has shown is that collaboration is more essential than ever. And collaboration not only between the public and the private sectors, but also between agencies of United Nations, such as FAO. And indeed, there's a whole program with FAO basically looking for the promotion of rural tourism. As you know, 2020 was the year of tourism and rural development. Why? Because what we think is that rural tourism offers many opportunities for local communities. And it is important also to digitalize also because of demographic change, because of the population in rural areas, and because tourism or the power that tourism can have to transform also those rural areas where there's many also small and medium products that are also local producers that could reach also those urban centers or those tourists visiting the urban areas also to visit the rural areas and to be able to spread the benefits all around the country. And I think that's the idea behind the collaboration between two agencies of United Nations that look for a sustainable also recovery of tourism and see how both institutions can, through rural tourism or rural development, create more opportunities, create more jobs, create also linkages between agriculture and tourism, as Minister Greene also pointed out in this session.
And Minister Greene, maybe you want to add a few comments on that partnership and how rural tourism can play a better role. as well as there's another question for you, Minister Greene. Are there any strong plans to tackle poor fishing practices and get fisherfolk to more widely respect fish sanctuaries and marine reserves? So if you can comment on the previous question as well as this question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I think this has been a really engaging affair thus far. Thanks again to Michelle and Donovan. So let me start from the rural development. Clearly, we have seen a lot of positive gains directly coming out of a stronger focus between tourism and the Ministry of Agriculture. We are seeing a much stronger community tourism product in rural areas. The constituency that I represent in St. Elizabeth Southwestern has really developed a very strong model around ensuring that their tourists engage directly with the farmers, with the field. As Don would have said, we do have treks, we do have tours, we do have farm to table dinners, and that is going very, very well. And I think more and more, as we continue on this focus, we're going to see more rural areas embark on this economic activity, which is critical. One of the things that we want to see more of is some of our old-time ways of preparing food, that we still have practitioners. How can we, again, organize more of these tours around? There's a lovely lady in my neck of the woods who does bami. And boy, I mean, I don't know how many of you have ever seen bami being made, especially in old-time Jamaican fashion. And for those of you who are not from Jamaica, bami is like a cassava bread. It's absolutely amazing, especially with escovitch fish. Maybe I should stop now because I'm going to get a little bit hungry. But we are seeing a strong drive in relation to rural development through this gastronomy network and through our links between agriculture and tourism. And what we want to see more of, we are seeing more contractual arrangements between our farmers and our hotel sector so that they can better plan. We want to see a market-driven agricultural sector. So we want everybody who is doing something to already have the market for it. And we believe we can get that in tourism, because tourism is one of the places that we can say that you need X amount at this time, for this length of period. So definitely seeing strong moves in relation to rural development. In relation to fisheries, we are taking a much more strident approach in relation to those illegal fishing practices. Part of the challenge has been our capacity to enforce, and we're trying to enhance that capacity. In fact, over the last 3 years, our Marine Police and our Coast Guard would have gotten new resources so that they're better able to police our seas. We would have just purchased a new surveillance booth to work through our fish sanctuaries to really help keep out poachers. We believe that our sanctuaries are critical, and our sanctuaries are conservation areas that do not allow fishing. That is really there for the replenishment of our fish stock, and we're seeing really significant impact from those sanctuaries in relation to our fish population. So we're definitely looking to see how we can better protect them. As just said, last year we got one vessel to help in that regard, and we're trying to get some more through our project that we have with the World Bank. Again, we're providing more direct support to our sanctuaries. We're going to bring on some of the sanctuaries that were not normally supported by government. We're going to be giving them some support this year. I think one of the big things, though, is to ensure that we show our fisher folk that there are alternatives. So we just, through partnership, launched our first vertical marine farm. It's actually a project through the UK High Commission and the Alligator Head Foundation and Baroness Francesca. And this will give us our first vertical farm, marine farm. It's really focused on mariculture. They're going to be growing things like Irish mush. They're going to be growing blue crab because they're trying to target, again, the hospitality sector. And they're going to be doing oysters. So we want to replicate this throughout Jamaica, because what we have to do is give some of the fishermen and women who are doing these bad practices, give them real alternatives that they can still earn significant income. We believe mariculture, farming in the sea is the answer. Again, we believe this directly ties into our gastronomy network. Something like sea cucumber that is really popular, especially in parts of Asia and Europe. We want to be harvesting sea cucumber, again, our oysters, our blue crab. There are tremendous possibilities, especially in fisheries.
Wow, that's exceptional. I'm very excited to hear that. And those definitely are items that will also you'll be able to visit and see it in production and really enhance that experience. We know that localization is key to any gastronomy tourism product. And there are a lot of new food trends and activities that are happening around this. And this will definitely add to the mix of what we already have in Jamaica. We have a strong seafood culture. We don't talk about it a lot, but we definitely have fresh seafood. We are an island. So, I mean, literally within 5 minutes of it coming up the sea, it can be on your plate. So that's something that Jamaica has to offer. We have the mountains, we have the rivers, we have the sea. So our diversity of product is quite unique. And that's something we continue to showcase. So, Minister, we're very excited to hear that. I'm just going to ask a question of the panelists, and each of you can give some feedback. In light of where we are going and the recovery efforts, in your opinion, what would be for gastronomy tourism? What should be, or would you see as the greatest area of focus that you would be excited for the network to pay a little bit more attention on and work towards? I'll start with you, Minister Greene, and then I'll go to Donovan and then Michelle.
Oh boy, that's a lot. I think definitely, clearly, any gastronomy experience depends on local producer. I would love us to focus on what are your culinary experts finding it very challenging to get locally, so that we can say to the farmers that these are the things that are in tremendous demand and we want you to start growing these items. I think that's very, very important. So that's one. And on the flip side, how can you get more of our chefs to incorporate what is in significant supply in Jamaica into their culinary dishes? You know, things like dasheen, cocoa, yam. We want to see more recipes around utilizing these things for tremendous gastronomy experiences. I think those two, if we are able to focus on getting the demand and feeding that into the ministry so that we can get that to our farmers and fishers, and if we can show how we can use Jamaican produce creatively, I think that plus helping us build out some of these underground experiences, right? I think those three things for me would really go a far way in getting the farmers, fishers directly involved in this gastronomy journey.
Excellent. Donovan, your comments?
Sure. We have our Visit Jamaica platform has, we have revamped that over the last 3 years, and our focus on food is highlighted on all the platforms, as is the other segments of the destination experiences. And food is a huge area for us. I mean, if you just go to our IG handle, visitjamaica.com, and click on the food tab, you get a real sense of all things food in Jamaica and all kinds of food experiences. What we have to continue to do more of is to take this journey, or to continue this journey deep into our communities as part of our rural community focus around our tourism product development, as well as demonstrate the level of safety and seamlessness that our visitors can have having these experiences, given the current state of the world in relation to COVID and protocols and safety and social distancing. And so we want to ensure that visitors to Jamaica understand our protocols. They understand we have created something for the world called the Resilient Corridor that allows them to have a safe experience while in Jamaica. And a safe experience means that they can touch and feel all things tourism Jamaica. And so from that perspective, we have to continue to message along those lines. We have to continue to broaden the conversation on all our platforms. We have to continue to generate and create new content, which we do every single day. Last year, while visitors or travelers were at home dreaming, our marketing team got busy and created a campaign called Escape to Jamaica, which was basically taking the things like gastronomy and things like our food and our drink, our chefs, and put them on video and allow them to have live interaction with people around the world. This has allowed us to create new norms and new expectations for visitors around the world coming to Jamaica. And we want to continue that. We want to deepen that. And we want to take up Minister Greene and Minister Bartlett's challenge to ensure that we are making more people enamored with food and the food experiences in Jamaica, because we know that's the #1 reason why people travel.
Excellent, Donovan. Michelle, your comments?
Thank you very much, Nicola. I'm positively surprised about the passion that Jamaican people put in their gastronomy offer. But as we are talking about linkages, I will mention that it's not only the linkage between tourism, agriculture, and other economic sectors, but also if we think about Jamaica, we think about also the music, reggae, Bob Marley, about the influence that Jamaica has had, on the world music. And I was thinking that maybe it will be a good also opportunity to try to link, as we are talking about the tourism linkage network, music, gastronomy, and as Nicola was mentioning, health, wellness, the beach, to create, I will say a better or more comprehensive or holistic product in that sense, that is able also to cater for those tourists post-COVID-19, as we can call it, tourist needs. And then the second area that I will mention is that, for instance, training and education. I think training and education is critical in a post-COVID-19 world. If we take into consideration the competitiveness factor, if we take into consideration also the role of digitalization, which is already transforming tourism landscape and the way people interact also, and also from the supply side, it will be very important also to have a trained workforce that is able also to cope, with these new needs. And in that sense, UNWTO is ready to support Jamaica as always. It's always important also to exchange best practices and to learn about what other countries or regions are doing also in terms of the development of gastronomy tourism. So, and last but not least, I will mention also, and my colleague Donovan White, he ended his intervention with also the health and security protocols. And I think that we can take advantage of these improvement in health and security protocols also to enhance the gastronomy experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Well, Michelle, I have some good news for you. In terms of our festivals and our activities, music is never left out. That is something,
I can imagine.
Our coffee festival or rum festival, we always put music and infuse music in everything we do. And just for the wider viewing audience to know, the 5 networks, we sit on one committee, which is the Tourism Linkages Network. That's sports and entertainment, knowledge, shopping, gastronomy, and health and wellness. And we do integrate all those elements. So I'm the chair of gastronomy, but we have other persons who chair the other subcommittees. And we meet monthly to see how we integrate all of those assets that Jamaica has in the various things that we produce, whether it's festivals, seminars, events. We work as a team, because when we mention the backward linkages, I just want to point out with agriculture, you also have the manufacturing segment in it and the export potential, spices, sauces, herbs and blends. For example, Jamaican jerk cuisine, that is something that has exploded internationally. But say 30 years ago, that was the cuisine 30, 40 years ago, you could only find that one place on the island in Jamaica, and that was in Port Antonio. You had to drive to Port Antonio to experience jerk. Younger persons may not know this, but it was exported into Kingston, and then it exploded across the island, exploded across the world. But that built out behind it a whole industry of sauces and spices and condiments and cookbooks and everything related to jerk cuisine. So you are right, Michelle, that we have to look at our linkages in a very wholesome way. And it is something we have to educate ourselves as practitioners of gastronomy tourism, but also our entire population to the potential of just one item, one cuisine, one tradition that could now serve and develop a whole industry behind it. And we have a question that says that the traditional dishes and way of cooking are not being passed down anymore. What is in place to sensitize the new generation of our traditional cuisines and way of life? And I just want to share that we have, as a part of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, another element called the Jamaica JCTI, which deals with the training element of our various culinaries and chefs and different practitioners, and they offer certification courses in skills training and development. We also work with the University of Technology, the Culinary Federation of Jamaica, and we do an annual support of a Taste of Jamaica competition where, Minister Greene, for your knowledge, we ask them to prepare new dishes, and they compete using only Jamaican products. So this is another way to not only cement the tradition and the culture in terms of the things that are known as traditional Jamaican cuisine, but also to create new Jamaican cuisine and expand our diversity and the various options that we have, because we want to see Jamaican cuisine not only known as for ackee and saltfish and breadfruit and or jerk chicken, but to see what else can we share with the world and how we can continue to grow our cuisine. Because if we look back and think, somebody came up with ackee and saltfish many moons ago to put those two things together. Somebody came up with doing jerk chicken. Somebody came up, with rice and peas, and so who is that next culinary genius that has come up with a new Jamaican cuisine that just hasn't yet been shared with the rest of the country and not popularized as yet? So that is a part of what we are about in gastronomy, sharing ideas, sharing new cuisine. And the other question we have here is, I think we answered that. Is there an initiative towards health and wellness and medical tourism in terms of the gastronomy network? So yes, as we mentioned, we are working with our other subcommittees, so we do incorporate. Minister Greene, there is one more question for you. It says, as for local fishermen, as it relates to oceanic farming, will there be a license required to follow through with same? So I think you have sparked a lot of interest. That sounded very exciting. So people want to know, how do I go about doing this as well?
Yeah, so like with most things that we do in the sea, we will have a licensing regime. We do know, if you want to get involved in oyster cultivation, you can contact the National Fisheries Authority. For everything in relation to our fisheries industry, how do you get your licenses, just to fish or to farm in the sea? Contact the National Fisheries Authority. Definitely, it's something that we're going to be looking to expand, as I've said, throughout the country. Our sea space is 25 times our land mass. So It's a really great opportunity. So for anybody who is online and listening and you're interested, contact the National Fisheries Authority.
Thank you, Minister Greene. Just also want to share that we do have our website, tastejamaica.com, and we're also on social. So if you want to find out more about gastronomy, that is a website that you can visit, tastejamaica.com. And as Donovan White, our director, mentioned, also visit jamaica.com as another platform if you want to research or find out any other additional information on the various offerings we have with gastronomy, but also all the other unique elements that we have being offered here in Jamaica. So we are soon coming to a close. We probably, I'm going to ask each presenter just to give us, we are coming up on 10 minutes too, and then we're going to do the vote of thanks. But each presenter to maybe just a last couple of words. I also want to say to the options as well, as we have all these great products and services available across the island. And I encourage those of us living in Jamaica to also get out and experience it. I know we're talking about tourism in terms of international tourists, but we also have what we call our local tourists. And this year, a lot of us have been taking staycations and getting to various parts of the island. So in your staycation experience, definitely continue to take a gastronomy experience and to go to some of these farms and have the farm to table experiences, to go to St. Elizabeth and have some pepper shrimp, to just go to the Pudding Man in Priory, the Yam Man in Trelawney. There are so many various things across the island that you should get out and experience and celebrate Jamaican cuisine. So I'm going to ask Michelle, maybe you should go first as our international guest. And just to let you say, Minister Bartlett had to jump off, but we thank him for his keynote address and his support for the Gastronomy Tourism Network and the Tourism Linkages Network, and his very, very strong leadership. So Michelle, you get to give a few last words, and then I'll go to Minister Greene and then to Donovan White.
Thank you very much, Nicola, and congratulations also for your moderation. Excellent. And I think the pandemic has highlighted that we need to work together because we are all in the same situation. And the only way out of this situation successfully is to continue to work together. I think this is an excellent platform to exchange knowledge, to exchange best practices, to exchange views about what could be the future of tourism, and in particular of gastronomy tourism, and how to enhance it. So I think this is the future to sustainable recovery of tourism that we at UNWTO, and when I mention UNWTO, is not only the international organization bit, but it's also the membership. In Jamaica, as I said at the beginning, is a very active member. And I think we're all working together for a safe and responsible restart of tourism to build back stronger and better. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Michelle. Minister Greene, your last thoughts?
I think this was a wonderful initiative. I think we definitely should have more of these initiatives. I think it's critical that we have a conversation going. I think this does help to heighten awareness and to get more people involved. It will take an all hands on deck approach. And what I like about development of our gastronomy industry is that by its very nature, it incorporates everybody. So I look forward to the continued partnership. We here at the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, we stand ready to help be the drivers, especially on the back end of ensuring that we produce what you need to have a wonderful gastronomy network and a wonderful experience when our tourists get here. The reality is that Jamaica is in fact the heartbeat of the world, and food is the heartbeat of Jamaica. So as such, gastronomy has to be what we focus on now and in the future. And I will join with Michelle. It is through gastronomy that we will build back better and build back stronger.
Excellent. We totally 100% agree with you, and we stand ready to work with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries to move forward on our gastronomy tourism journey. Director White, your last words.
Thank you, Nicola. The tourist board, we are, as the marketers of the destination, there are three pillars of our focus as we go forward. Disrupt. We use technology to be disruptive in the marketplace, to carve our niches, to create new niches, and to enter new marketplaces, because it's a shorter journey, it's a faster journey, it's a simpler journey, and we have spent the time to learn the technology and to use it to our benefit. Then we want to infuse. We want to infuse our, once we get in, and we want to infuse our culture, our people, and the beauty of Jamaica. And then we want to convert. And to convert, we have to engage. And we do that very well now. We have expanded our engagement team to include the entire community of persons that on this end talk to and listen to and speak to our audiences around the world, to help them to navigate our spaces and to help them to understand our messages. And we want to continue to build relationships and build partnerships. Those are our three critical focus. We believe if we continue to do those well, and continue to enhance what is already one of the most powerful brands in the world, Jamaica, we will build back and build our recovery faster than even we ourselves imagine it can happen.
Thank you very much, Donovan. Well, we have had an excellent presentation from all our panelists, and I just want to thank again our Honorable Minister Edmund Bartlett, Mr. Julian from the UNWTO, Honorable Minister Floyd Greene from the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, and Director of Tourism Donovan White. Before we close off, I'm just going to ask Dr. Carey Wallis, Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, to just give us a few words as a vote of thanks. The Tourism Enhancement Fund is the lead agency under which the Tourism in Linkages Network sits, as well as, therefore, the Gastronomy Tourism Network. Dr. Wallis, if you could.
Hi, Nicola. Thank you so much. I must say, of all the forums I've been on since COVID, all these online forums, this is one of the best ones. So congrats and kudos to all the panelists and yourselves. We benefited significantly. If you're a foodie, if you're a tourism stakeholder, if you're a gastronomy stakeholder, if you're an agricultural stakeholder, you'd have benefited significantly from all the data that was shared, all the information that was shared today. And in fact, even just the commitments and the energy, the drive, the passion that we saw from both our ministers, Minister Bartlett of Tourism and Minister Greene of Agriculture. And it all goes well. I mean, I am leaving feeling that gastronomy tourism, we have had a significant rise up the rung of the ladder today because of this forum. And I'm so pleased that it's one of 5. This is the first of 5 that are in the series. And I think Jamaica can be, in fact, the world can be optimistic that by the end of that 5, if we continue on this trajectory, we will have a significant lift to travel and tourism locally, regionally, and globally. I was, and the balance of information, the presentations with the data, the recommendations from the UNWTO, Michelle, those were very, very beneficial, I believe. And one of the things that struck me as well, Nicola, was just how in sync all the panelists were and representing their ministries and agencies and associations and organizations. It meant that we with these brilliant minds really and brilliant leaders are really on the right track. So kudos to all. We look forward to the next one. And I just wanted to thank all the panelists and yourself, Nicola, for being such a gracious host, and to also commend the organizers of this event, the Tourism Linkages Network, starting with the council itself, headed by Adam Stewart, the deputy chair being Kevin Hendrickson, and all other team leaders of that council. You yourself, Nicola, being the chair of Gastronomy Network, and the hardworking team behind it, headed by Carey McDonald-Riley, Simone and Tashika as well, who, you know, there are a lot of persons behind the scene that
yes,
that pull together to make this happen. And so commendations to them as well. So with that, I'd just like to say thank you, and we look forward to the next one.
Thank you, Dr. Wallis. Definitely, we have to give kudos to our hardworking team behind the scenes. You know, Simone, Tishana, as well as Dr. Carolyn Riley, who is the head of the Linkages network. So we have a great behind-the-scene teams that supports all of our networks in gastronomy, including both sports and entertainment, health and wellness, shopping, knowledge, etc. I just again want to thank everyone for coming and joining us today. As we said, the first in a 5-part series. Our next one will be next Tuesday, and you can always get more details either on the TF website or on the tastejamaica.com website as to the next in our series, as we move forward in continuing to uplift Jamaican gastronomy and working with tourism, agriculture, manufacturing, and all the other sectors in a very unique way to present what is uniquely Jamaican. We thank you again to our presenters and for their insight and their knowledge, and as Dr. Wallis said, their passion. We're all very passionate about this topic, as you can see, and we really appreciate you joining us today. And if you need any more information, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. Ladies and gentlemen, both here in Jamaica and across the world, we thank you for taking the time with us today as we explored Jamaican gastronomy in the new normal of COVID-19 and the future recovery of tourism, which we know is bright, and as Minister Bartlett said, that we are strong, resilient people, and will definitely be back and invite you to join us here in Jamaica for our unique Jamaican gastronomy experiences. Thank you all.
Thanks, and bye. Bye, everyone.